Hey, good morning, guys. Hope everyone's doing wonderfully well. All right, just starting our pre-market scan here. The software is getting hit yet again today. IGV seeing some sell side pressure. Just as when you think it starts to get some momentum, starts to get faded. Your SOXX is pushing yet again. QQQ obviously ripping to did hit some new all-time highs in the pre-market, pulling back slightly. Your S&P 500, again, nasty reversal yesterday, but bouncing sharply in the pre-market. Did get strong employment market data. Unemployment remains in line with forecasts. Non-farm payrolls had a huge beat. Crude oil right now remaining pretty soft on the session, still holding above this 4-hour chart support SR zone, carving out a base potentially to break out here. I still think that crude oil is shaping up for another push higher. Right now it's just chopping inside of these two wedge patterns. So we'll see which way it wants to go. All right, I'm looking at Cloudflare today for a bit of a long. There's a couple key levels I'm watching. 211 big volume shelf, so that's going to be one that I watch. Right now it's trading at 216, so it's above it. But I would trade it off pre-market low, kind of around the 208.50. I would trade it anything between 211 and 208.50 on the long side. Um, if for some reason off the open you just get a hard move down, there is this gap fill around 205. So quite a bit of support sub 211, between 211 and 205. It's about a $6 range. Lots of support down there. But Cloudflare was a parabolic name breaking out to the high side on its earnings, getting slapped right back down right now. XYZ, guys, has a lot of bullish momentum to it. Not only has it triggered an inverse head and shoulders here on the daily, and it's broken out with force. You built this flag pattern ahead of earnings, and it's now breaking out to the high side. This one is on watch for a momentum long. As long as the market stays firm, Cloudflare, or sorry, ticker block XYZ should push back up to 78 and maybe even wants to go to the gap fill around 80 bucks. So this one is another long on watch. Good morning, Supreme Leader. So XYZ looks pretty strong on the daily time frame since you got this bullish pattern, bull flag breakout. This is another one. Dip buys I think are going to get gobbled up on XYZ. I guess it's a pretty decent earnings report. Double beat across the board. Yeah. VVVV, Valvoline. What's that doing? Not doing too much. Texas Roadhouse, TXRH. That's getting a gap up as well. Falling wedge, breakout. Tandem Diabetes, TMDM. Big push. This one's in a heavy downtrend. TNDM probably gets faded after that gap up. Monster seeing some strength as well. Big push in MNST. Wow. Right back up to pretty much the all-time highs on Monster. That thing is a beast. Hmm. CoreWeave, yep, CRWV. Yesterday report is gapping down here. CoreWeave's probably going to be shorted after an intraday bounce, so this one will be on watch for a fade down. Um, Probably going to get a pretty decent bounce. You're already seeing it in the pre-market, but CoreWeave does look like a fade back down. I'd say this one could be shorted after a little mini intraday bounce back down to 114. Some put options on CoreWeave might work out. Qualcomm was a big mover yesterday. It did have a pretty big intraday fade from the highs, but basically today it's retracing that high. Wouldn't be surprised to see Qualcomm try to test that high pivot again. That would not surprise me. Qualcomm. HubSpot getting destroyed here. Another software name that's getting absolutely pummeled. Gapping down on its earnings. Its earnings weren't that bad, but it's just another software name that can't catch a bid to save its life. Wow. New 52-week lows. TTD is another one that's getting clobbered, as we all know. This one's probably going to go to 19 bucks, if not 18.50. It's just nasty decimation. What did that hit? Wow, yeah, it already hit sub 18 there. Crazy. Ross. Ginkgo Bioworks, ticker DNA. Big gap down. This one was on the DXC. Sheesh. New 52-week lows for DXC. Yeah, it looks like DXC wants to come down to that low pivot. That is COVID. Wow. Post. Good morning, YS. Another software name getting smoked. Toast is getting toasted this morning. Burnt toast. Sheesh. Yep, that one's going to get smashed as well. Expedia also getting hit today. Interesting. This one might get bought up considering the employment data in the US was holding steady. Usually good employment numbers push these travel stocks up. So Expedia might actually get a bit of a buy the dip. Let me just take a peek at its earnings. So it did beat. It wasn't a bad earnings. Maybe just weak forecast, higher oil prices, less flights, etc., less vacations. Hmm. Oopsie. Tesla's still continuing to rip, guys. Looks like Tesla wants that daily chart breakout, triggering a massive bull pattern here. It could be a gamma squeeze Friday for Tessie. I mean, Tesla could try, if things get really moving and the market stays firm, I mean, Tesla could try to have a huge $10 to $15 push. It's looking like a beast mode. Amazon pulling back, bouncing here a little bit. Google still remains full bull, beast. slightly down. Crude oil is continuing to drop here, guys. Microsoft still pulling back slightly intraday. Still think it wants that downside gap. Copper is continuing to surge here, guys. CRM is getting pummeled today as well. CRM falling sharply. Interestingly enough, during that pullback, Alibaba held steady. It's pushing up. Oof, Microsoft just had a big dip down. That was nasty. $417 on Microsoft. Ouch. Microsoft looks like it might get to be a bit of a fade this morning. Microsoft just had a huge dip. All right, I'm going to keep Cloudflare on net, on watch. Again, anything below 211 I like on the long side of Cloudflare. Whoops. Looks like semis are going to be pushing to a new high. Software looks like a big fat fade today. Nasty. Software is getting pounded here. IGV new pre-market lows around 89.50. Microsoft just getting pummeled here. CRM, Palantir, all looking weak IGV, guys. All of it. 211. Natural gas is still showing positive structure. It's trying to push here. Natural gas is showing some signs of life. Not a bad long if you guys want to take it. I wouldn't chase it here. I'd let somewhat of a pullback occur intraday, but it's trying here. All right, guys, we're about to open here. 2 seconds. Here we go. Open sesame. S&P still holding. Big drop on Microsoft. Wow, all the way into that gap fill. That is filthy. Let's look at Cloudflare, NET still bouncing a little bit. Microsoft backtesting its 20-day moving average, so there is some daily chart support for a bit of a bounce. Intel still rocking and rolling. NVIDIA trying to push higher. Microsoft's coming into that gap fill, guys. Gap fill on Microsoft. Still like Cloudflare sub 211, guys. Sub 211. All right, Microsoft coming into its gap fill. 413 could be a possible bounce for Microsoft. 413. Nice push up on rig. Copper still flying. McDonald's moving. So it is. Marvell's strong. Yeah, Software's just getting murked this morning. IREN pumping and jumping. Uranium under pressure. Rocket Labs is surging to the moon. Crazy. Strong day for BlackBerry. AMD up over 4%. Natural gas ripping. Nvidia trying to break out of a bull flag on the hourly. Going for potentially new highs. Big squeeze. Crude oil pretty weak still. You got your QQQ leading the charge. IWM in second place. SPY just slightly behind. SOXX is ripping to the upside. I was looking at I want Microsoft to fill that downside gap, but it's bouncing just slightly ahead of it. Copper stocks are ripping. IGV still remaining pretty weak here. Nvidia still pumping and jumping. Soundhound getting destroyed. That's down 11.5. CoreWeave down 8.67. There might be a fade on CoreWeave. Let's just take a peek here. Yeah, CoreWeave is getting wrecked right now. Nastiness. Copper see. So wide though on these calls on net. I can't take them. Spread is so wide. That's filthy. A bid at 470 and ask at 770. That's disgusting. Looks like equity is probably the better bet for Cloudflare. Well, a lot of support down here. Volume shelf, 20-day moving average back test on Cloudflare. Big support. IGV still at the lows. Microsoft's trying to bounce. SMR under pressure today. Big bounce on TTD this morning. Look at that reversal on TTD. Looks like it wants to go green. Interesting. Semis are still pushing. Seeing a little bit of sell side pressure in your Russell. The Dow is also seeing a big spike here. Semi's new highs, going for it. Yep, there it is. Semi SOXX pushing. Yeah, I was looking at getting some call options on Cloudflare here, but the spread is too wide right now. I gotta let that tighten up. Let that IV roll off. S&P ripping here. Rocket Lab still squeezing. Tesla pushing. Micron up over 7.5%. Sheesh, Micron. What a beast, guys. What an absolute beast. How is Qualcomm doing? Qualcomm still just slightly off the highs. CoreWeave still drilling here. Soundhound also showing quite a bit of weakness. S&P still at the highs, pushing. There might be Actually, Soundhound off the 20-day moving average Pierce here, 826. Pretty cheap equity. I might go for a bounce on Soundhound. Just equity shares. 826. Let me see what else we have here. There is that gap fill down below there. That's at what? Pierce of $8, 797. So your highest volume was that low. Candle there. IGV still drilling. NVIDIA pushing. NVIDIA looking for new highs. Net is bouncing off its pre-market low just slightly. Sheesh, NVIDIA is just a monster, guys. Absolute beast. So that IWM is showing quite a bit of weakness right now. Small caps are coming in hot. Wonder if the S&P is going to follow suit. IGV still remaining pretty weak here, guys. Was looking at Microsoft long, but it bounced right ahead of that gap fill. Microsoft could be a short back down. It's pretty weak here on the session. IGV still remaining weak. Intel still ripping. Fluence Energy ripping. RXT still ripping. Oof. NVIDIA is just a monster. Look at that beast. Yep, going for gap fill on NVIDIA. It wants it. So Microsoft struggling, Google struggling, Amazon struggling, Meta struggling, Tesla full bull, Intel, AMD full bull, financials are doing well, NVIDIA ripping, IWM lagging quite a bit. You do have crude oil trying to bounce here a little bit, guys. Guys, I'm going to take a downside put on Tesla. Downside put. I'm going to go for, what are we at? 415 put on Tesla, 0 DTE, $1.23, $1.19. Let me just see where we're at here. All right, guys, I'm short Tesla. 415 put. 415 put. $1.19, guys. 415 put on Tesla, $1.19. My stop loss is going to be basically any sort of a 5-minute close above that high pivot. You got a bit of a doji candle there. Nice drop on Tesla. There we go. Sammy's still remaining pretty firm. Relative strength in the S&P, guys, is not there today. You got a lot of sell side pressure under the hood of this market. A lot of sell side pressure. Come on, break 420. If Tesla loses 420, it should roll over pretty sharply. 420 is a big call wall. Come on. Nice drop, nice drop. Yep, perfect timing on Tesla. We got that one right. That's a bit of a negative reversal pattern, guys. Doji candle at the high, which was a high intraday higher high. The closing of the candle was lower than the previous 5-minute candle. Now it's starting to see bearish sell side pressure. Market's still remaining firm here though. S&P. All right, I'm going to put a break-even stop loss on my Tesla trade. I'm up quite nicely already, but I'm going to put a break-even stop, $1.19. I would look to re-enter that if that stops me out, but break-even stop trade is now risk-free, guys. I don't want to let anything go against me on this Friday. Tesla is notorious on Fridays for doing these crazy gamma squeezes, but break-even stop, $1.19. SOXX still ripping. New high, new all-time high for SOXX. Sheesh. Intel up 5%. Micron just a filthy beast. Marvell ripping. Wild stuff, man. Wild stuff. IGV new lows. See, this 420 wall on Tesla is a monster. Still wanted to break it. I might get stopped out. Contracts are still trading $1.37-ish, $1.40. It's a hard stop on Tesla if it tries to break it. IGV new lows. That thing's just melting. My goodness gracious me. IGV. Come on, Tessie. Roll over, roll over. Microsoft still trying to hold 416. Nvidia is just a powerhouse. Holy moly. Nvidia wants new all-time highs. It wants that gap fill around 216.60. Come on, Tessie. Wow, look at Cloudflare, guys. Oof, not a bad spot for a long. Let me check that options chain to see if it's tightened up. All right, guys, Tesla might stop me out here at break even. Had a chance to take about 70 cents there, Colin, but still in it. Market's just crazy bullish right now. Big bounce on Tesla there. All right, guys, I got stopped out at break even on Tesla. I'm going to look to re-enter this short, but I want it lower. I want contracts lower. All right, I'm gonna look to re-enter here on these 415 puts on Tesla. What a fucking bounce though. Holy moly. All right, guys, I am back in Tesla short 106, 106. Starting to go a little bit high. Holy moly, Tesla's fully bully. That's wild. You got out of Tesla pulling your profits. Good stuff. Good stuff. S&P just ripped. My oh my. Yeah, everything popping now. SPY just had a beast of a candle there. Sheesh. What a reversal up there on Tesla. That's wild. Still interested in trading this Cloudflare on the long side. I just want to see the chain here. Cloudflare. Microsoft is ripping here. gonna look to take an entry on Cloudflare NET, guys. I'm looking at 210 calls. I'm gonna keep also a tight stop loss on that. Cloudflare NET. See, it might make one more new low here. Wow, S&P is just a monster, ripping. New lows for Cloudflare. NET is rolling off of a cliff here. Still waiting. Tesla's ripping. Semis are still ripping. Nvidia just posted new all-time high, guys. Holy, market is squeezing here on a Friday. It's just ripping. Cloudflare is still drilling. Watching that closely. It's coming into 200 on NET, guys. Piercing daily chart levels here. Big spots. 210s might be a little ambitious. Oof. Cloudflare new lows. Still gonna hold short Tesla. Wow, Nvidia's just a beast. Fill on Cloudflare NET long. 210 calls. This is high risk. I got filled at $1.10. NET. NET. High risk. Very high risk. SPY still fully bully. SPY new all-time highs. Cloudflare is definitely weak. Coming into daily chart support. EMA 113. Still super weak though. Wow. Fucking crazy. Still short Tesla. Looking for Nvidia is just a ridiculous monster. Come on, Cloudflare. Give me a little bit of a bounce. IGV is trying to bounce here. Yeah, I think SPY up here is a short. You're sweeping that previous all-time high. Not a bad spot. You're looking at 736.55. Yeah. Pre-market high is not too far away for SPY, so definitely I think it's a little bit stretched here, long in the tooth. All right, come on, net. Come on, Cloudflare. IGV catching a bit of a bounce. Come on, net. SOXX is starting to see a little bit of sell side pressure. All right, guys, I'm trimming half of my net calls here. $1.61 first trim. If we pop up here into this 206 area, I'll dump the rest of them. Stop loss at break even on the runners. That was a nice little 50-cent gain per a contract there on Cloudflare NET. Semi seeing a minor bit of sell side pressure, still holding resiliency above 500. Intel still ridiculous. That was a nice little bounce. SPY's bubbling up into prior day high. All right, I got stopped out on the rest of the runners there, guys, on net. So small little gain. Stopped out at break even on the rest of the half position. That's still a weak stock. Let's pull SPY back up here. S&P still ripping. Tesla still a beast. Nvidia is still trying to push. Microsoft seeing more sell side pressure. Meta still weak. Amazon firmed up. Tesla still a beast. SPY still ripping here. Pre-market high is incoming. Marvell having a nice day. Microsoft going for new lows. IGV being weighed down. Semis are still pumping and jumping. Wild squeeze in the tape. Crazy squeeze. Software still remaining pretty weak here. Microsoft looking heavy. AMD's a beast. Micron up over 9.27%. Geez, CoreWeave still struggling. Open Door struggling. SoundHound struggling. Rocket Lab still ripping. Nokia ripping. Iron pulling back from its highs pretty sharply. All right, a little bit of sell side pressure hitting SPY here. Bit of a double top liquidity sweep. Excuse me. Take a put on SoundHound. I'm looking at $8 puts, which would imply another 5% down from current levels. It's a bit of a lotto trade, but SoundHound, $8 puts, SOUN. I'm looking at $8 puts, 0 DTEs, SOUN. Haven't taken a fill yet, but they're about 5 cents on the ask. I'm just trying to see what SPY does here. Seeing a little bit of resistance here. Sound's going to get a little bit of a buy program, so might want to let it pop up a little bit. Microsoft still pretty heavy. Net Cloud for getting a bit of a bounce here. Tesla still ripping. Nvidia is still holding up like a champ. SOXX is still trying to push for 510. SoFi weak today. CoreWeave. What's the CoreWeave chart looking like? Yeah, that's still. Yeah, I'm still probably going to short this pop on SoundHound. I want to see it pop back up to like 850-ish, maybe even higher, 860. Tesla's still full beast. SNDK is ridiculous. Yeah, SNDK, Western Digital, Micron, the usual semis, right? They're crazy. Micron. Intel. I mean, these things are just absolute monsters. Western Digital. Jeez. Might be better to take an 850 put on SoundHound. Buying it in the money. Less decay. SPY is starting to come in a little bit. Semis are still flexing their muscles. Cloudflare still at the lows. Wow. Man, they're really sending this one to the graveyard. Tesla's just a beast. New highs. Squeezing here on the daily. Squeezing on the daily. Nvidia taking a bit of a breather. AMD still 5.5. Crude oil still remaining down. Wow, Rocket Labs is up 20%. Holy moly. Rocket Labs is flying. Even though it missed, Rocket Labs trying to break out here. Craziness. Hmm. What's IGV doing? IGV still flailing around. IGV looks like it's coming to that gap fill. Microsoft still pretty weak. SPY still holding steady. CoreWeave still pretty weak. Hubs also seeing more sell side pressure. Hubs looks like a bit of a short back down as well. Hmm? Qualcomm going for new highs. Intraday still ripping. QQQ going for new highs. IWM still showing quite a bit of weakness, but sitting at that opening range low. SPY still ripping. New highs here. Nice little bounce on Cloudflare. Showing some strength. SoundHound still remains weak. Weak. TTD still draining. SoFi draining. SPY seeing a little bit of selling off of that pre-market high. Still looking at fading the SoundHound, guys. I'm looking at taking 850 puts, but I want to see it pop up a little bit more here. I'm going to do position on SoundHound, 850 puts, guys. As soon as it hits 850, I'll take a starter, and then I'll leave room to add if it pushes to the high of this range. Did have some 10 a.m. data there. Michigan sentiment, consumer sentiment. We also have some 1 and 5 year inflation expectations. So the inflation expectations coming in a little bit higher. The consumer sentiment for Michigan consumer sentiment, 48.1 versus 48.4 actual, 48.5 actual. Okay. Dixie's trying to pop up a little bit. Crude oil still remaining somewhat weak, but trying to curl slightly higher. Gold, silver still remain strong. Bitcoin struggling today. Microsoft, Meta struggling. Netflix struggling. Nvidia full bull. Apple full bull. Tesla full bull. Come on, Soundhound. Give me an entry here. Give me an entry. Nvidia seeing a little bit of selling. Come Soundhound. Gonna take a half position. SPY still strong, trying to hold above its pre-market high. QQQ is crazy strong as well. Tesla's full bull. IWM still remaining relatively weak. It's still green on the session. Soundhound is crossing into that 850 discussed. Starting for just a little bit here. Short Soundhound, half position, guys, half position. A bit sharply. I'm in the 850 puts for SOUN, half position. SPY still holding steady, 736.67, trying to consolidate above its pre-market high, but Nvidia is starting to roll pretty sharply. Microsoft trying to bounce, crude oil quietly creeping up here. YS is shorting Oracle, ORCL. Let's take a quick peek. Yeah, IGV is trying to come back here. It's clawing back, so you're seeing a bit of a dip buy coming into software again. Cloudflare still remains weak down here. Small pullback on Tesla. Nvidia is coming a little bit harder right now, guys. Selling option. Trying to bubble up here. Seeing some buy side pressure in crude oil, guys. WTI starting to make a move. Come back here. Interesting. Dollar is popping here. DXY starting to come in. Guys, I'm going to take XOM Lotto 147 call, 0 DTE, XOM, size appropriate if you're going to play. It's a high risk trade. Seeing crude oil trying to make a bit of a reversal here. I'm in at 8 cents. So 147 call, 8 cents. Sized for loss, small size. It's only 10 contracts, but I am seeing crude oil trying to make a bit of a move here. Back up. It's been choppy. XOM, and we're actually seeing some positive price action in Valero. Look at VLO. Usually Valero does lead the oil market, breaking a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders here. It's firming up quite nicely. Still waiting on the Sound Hound. Dixie are still trying to pop. Push up on crude oil. Sound just above 860. SPY starting to see a little bit more selling. SPY seeing a little bit more sell side pressure. You do have crude still trying to pop up. Could take a little bit of a 0 DT lotto put on SPY at this kind of double top area. You could use the high of day as a stop loss if you want to take a lotto downside. Crude and the dollar are starting to rip here. VIX is now green on a Friday. Interesting. SOXX is seeing a little bit of softening. Energy stocks are showing some signs of accumulation here, guys. You got XOM trying, XLE trying, OIH pretty much pushing to the highs on the 5-minute chart. Let's look at Oxy. Trying to make a move. Rig trying to make a move. CVX. That one's lagging a little bit. XOM trying here, guys. SPY still consolidating right on its kind of pre-market high level. Nvidia's pulled back, falling just slightly underneath its previous all-time high. Still showing some strength on the hourly chart. Nvidia is still very strong. Nice little buy program in XOM, guys. Starting to make a move here. Starting to make a move. Tesla still seeing some sell side. Come on, XOM. Crude oil popping. Crude oil is now testing its pre-market high, WTI. If it breaks through that, it should squeeze possibly to 94. SPY still acting pretty resilient here. SOXX is now coming in. So I'm still long XOM, short Sound, short Tesla. SPY still pushing for at the highs, trying to make another new high sweep. Sound is still acting well here. Shit, big push on Sound, guys. Big fucking push. I'm gonna add to this position, but if we get a 5-minute close or 10-minute close outside this opening range high, I'll probably stop out for a loss. But I did just add there at 6 cents. 6 cents add on Sound. 850s, that's a big push. Came out of nowhere. SPY still holding steady while SOXX is seeing a little bit of a tiny pullback. XOM still trying to squeeze. Tesla starting to roll over a little bit. Still above its opening range high levels. SPY still remains incredibly bullish right now. Trading above its pre-market high. XOM starting to come in. Let's look at IGV real quick. So IGV making a comeback here, guys. Software seeing a bit of buy program. Look at Oracle. Holy moly. Microsoft trying to join the party. Cloudflare might catch a bid if software moves. Interesting. Nvidia is starting to see more sell side pressure. IGV coming back, making a vicious reversal off the lows. Flexing its muscles. NVIDIA still curling down. XOM losing some momentum. Video losing some its opening range levels, curling slightly lower. SOXX still remains pretty bullish up here. IWM fat candle bounce. SPY coming in from its pre-market high right now. Look at the rest of the complex. AMD still holding steady. Intel still a beast. Marvell still holding. Qualcomm curling down. AVGO curling down. Micron curling down. Crude oil is still trying to pierce its pre-market high levels. Still struggling to get above it. Soundhound trying to make a push here. They are trying to stop me out of sound here. S&P new highs, still surging. IWM starting to push. QQQ still leading the charge, up 1.5%. Yesterday's pre-market high on SPY was all the way around 737.93-ish, so they might try to push the S&P up there. They might. Yeah, they're certainly still squeezing this market. Squeezing the market. Semiconductors are still eating. Let's look at software again. IGV still climbing back here, trying to. Microsoft still lagging, looking pretty weak down here. IGV still looks like a short back down. It's still relatively weak compared to the market. All right, crude oil is trying to get through its pre-market high here, guys. WTI breaking out here. XOM should start to move here. New high, still ripping. No breakout yet in crude. Still seeing selling off that pre-market high. Nvidia is starting to bounce again. Semi's flagging now, 10-minute chart. Look at that move on SPY. What a beast. Trump speaks at 12, I believe, right? So that was yesterday's pre-market high, all the way at 737. There was a tombstone reversal. But S&P still holding. Still holding short this sound hound, guys. 850 puts. My average is 9 cents. This net cloud burst still just drilling. Gnarly. WTI still seeing some rejection off of pre-market high. Hasn't fully cleared that. Semis are still holding steady. Intel still up 7%. CRM is getting smashed today. It's down 4.2. IGV still down 1.3. Micron up 9.86. That's wild. Uranium stocks are getting smashed. SMR down. UU down 7.5. Tempest AI, that's another one that just keeps getting killed. Rocket Lab's up 23%. That's crazy. Natural gas still continuing. S&P is still trending to the high side. Software still seeing some top quick distribution. CRM, Microsoft still looking nasty. Microsoft looks like a bit of a 10-minute bear flag. SOXX is going for new highs. Sheesh, look at the S&P squeezer. Nice dip on sound again. It's starting to come in pretty sharply. XOM is still trying to climb here, guys. Intraday, getting a push. Let's look at Valero. Yeah, Valero's still squeezing here. CVX now starting to participate, so we might get a big move in oil brewing. Again, Trump, I believe, speaks at 12. I don't know what he's speaking about. Does anyone know what Trump's speaking about at 12? XOM still squeezing. Come on, give us a move, XOM. Take us to 147. Nice push up in XOM, guys. Those calls are working up quite nicely. So still short sound, long XOM. Tesla, still have some puts on Tesla. Nice squeeze on energy, guys. Crude oil does look like it wants to get through its pre-market high. Yeah, it is nonsense for sure, some of these semis. A little bit of reversal starting to hit the S&P, perhaps a 10-minute topping tail forming. Still 1 minute left in the 10-minute candle. XOM is squeezing pretty hard here. I like it. Go, 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 baby. Go, go, go. Almost up 100% on these XOM calls. Come on. Soundhound, that's working out quite nicely as well now. That's starting to come in. Come on, baby. Come on. WTI still hasn't broken out yet of its pre-market high. Still waiting patiently. Back in profit on these 850 Soundhound puts. Get my average at 9 cents. Right now there's a 12 and 14 cent bid ask. SOXX is starting to come in pretty sharply here. Tesla rolling here. Crude oil, guys. WTI starting to push through its pre-market levels. Come on. Roll it over. S&P still just sitting right on its pre-market high, but did give us a 10-minute topping tail. Come on, Soundhound. Roll back down to the lows. So my first trim, guys, on Soundhound will be back down to its opening range low. I'll trim half of my contracts. Move stop to break even. First trim on XOM contracts will be into this gap fill around 146.50. I'll sell half, move stop in to break even. Tesla starting to roll. S&P starting to get a little bit weaker. Crude oil did just get a 10-minute candle close. WTI through that pre-market high, and now it's starting to squeeze. So the market might start to roll here, guys. Here we go. Microsoft still drilling, Meta still lagging. JP Morgan financials have rolled over here, guys. JP Morgan at least. How is the rest of them? Where's my BAC? Wells Fargo's drilling. Yeah, financials are still seeing more sell side pressure. Interesting. So RSP in the market is breaking down here. Come on, Sound. Drop it down. Drop it down. SPY is still trying to defend its pre-market high. Natural gas still up about 1%. Yields are still negative. Gold, silver still green. What's the IWM? IWM is still lagging. QQQ up over 1.5%. Crazy. IGV still showing a little bit of distribution. Microsoft going for new lows on the session. Microsoft wants that gap fill. Honestly, the way Microsoft's handling itself right now, Microsoft could potentially flush all the way down to 410, 410.50 today. Ouch, that would be nasty on Microsoft if that happens. And that would drag software down. Look at Cloudflare still draining. Holy moly. Cloudflare is a dirty dog. Same thing with Microsoft, guys. If Microsoft loses this area, there's this trend line I'm watching here on MSFT. Goes up to here. And then there's this little reversal pivot zone. And by 3:30 today, that's where that confluence hits. So Microsoft's looking heavy, nasty. S&P is still holding some resiliency. XOM still trying to squeeze. Push it, baby. Go XOM, go. Man, if XOM gets to this gap, those contracts would be crazy big. Semis are bouncing. AMD still strong. Lots of red out there in the market. Other than your semis, they're still holding. Some high crypto computing stocks, they're holding. Memory, holding. But there's a lot of red out there. Software's still lagging. Let's look at the sectors real quick. So you got financials down 0.3, communications down 0.37, utilities down 0.27, healthcare down 0.55. Consumer discretionary today, XLY is strong, up 0.5%. Staples are strong, XLK is strong. Industrials basically flat to green. Materials are strong as well, XLB. Interesting. Microsoft still draining here. IWM now seeing more sell side. IGV also seeing more sell side. Crude oil seeing a little bit of sell side pressure. A little bit of profit taking hitting XOM. Semis are still crazy resilient here. Tesla's starting to roll over a little bit, coming into that important opening range high level. Very important level for Tessie. If it loses opening range high, it's going to have a bit of a failed breakout intraday. IGV is trying to hold. SPY now curling back down. Nvidia really getting drained here, guys. Nvidia making a move into its pre-market high, selling pretty quickly here. Micron still trying to flag sideways. SPY is starting to roll over here as well. You can see SPY coming into its losing pre-market high, still holding above its prior day high, but if it loses that, you're going to see a potential gap and crack. Semis are now seeing more sell side. SOXX seeing a little bit of distribution up into this region. Wouldn't be surprised to see a gap and crack. That VIX is trying to surge here as well, guys. What the heck is the VIX doing? Look at the VIX trying to break out here. Pretty big bullish pattern potentially forming on the VIX here. And that pattern is trying. You clear these high pivots here on the VIX, it's got a smooth move to 18 bucks. We'll see. Wow, net coming into that gap fill. That's a crazy mover. Soundhound 850 puts are in the money, guys. Soundhound 850. Again, I'll trim half at the lows of the day. XOM still curling back down. SOXX, SOXX seeing more sell side pressure. Nvidia is trying to bounce. SPY sitting right on its prior day high. IGV is trying to hold, but you still have nasty looking chart on Microsoft. Palantir potentially setting up a 15-minute bear flag. Oracle, that's now starting to curl down. How's AppLovin doing? Oof, AppLovin. Holy moly, look at AppLovin. What the heck? Oh, that would have been a fat short. How the hell did it? Holy, that's crazy. PLTR, that's trying. Crude oil getting hard rejection off of its pre-market high. That's a filthy rejection. Nasty. Nastiness. Tesla getting a decent bounce off of its opening range levels. SPY pushing right back up. IGV still trying to grind slightly higher. Microsoft still struggling. Meta still struggling. Financial still struggling. So big bounce on your S&P. Huge bounce off that opening range. Come on, Soundhound. Go down. Go down, Sound. Come on. Higher yen, still up 8% or so. Microsoft trying to get a little bit of a bid here. Rocket Lab still up 22, Poet up 20, Nokia up 4, Intel up 5.9, Nvidia up 1.6, RXT up another 40%. That's crazy. EOSE making a move out of nowhere. That's up 18.9. CoreWeave still draining. Soundhound still pretty weak down here. Come on, Sound. Up about 70% on these Soundhound puts, guys. We should get a retest of the lows on Sound, especially the way Net is selling here. Jeez, that one's dead. That was literally the one candle that we traded on Net. Boom, and now it's dead. Nvidia is still seeing a little bit of selling. It's pulled back here for the last 50 minutes. Soundhound, come on, baby. Melt it. Melt it lower, baby. More selling hitting the S&P. We're almost up 100% on these Soundhound puts. Again, I'll trim half, guys, at the low here. Come on, Sound. You can do it. You can do it if you really want. Come on, man. I still think sound could retest the 20-day. That's at 827. NVIDIA is now bouncing. XOM is hovering around 145. SPY still trying to push for a potential new high. This net should get a bounce at some point. Wow, they are just eating it today. Look at that move down. That's wild. Gap fill coming up. Wow. That gap fill might be interesting on net. What is that level? That is 190, 190 Pierce. SPY still acting very resilient here. I still beast mode. Again, Trump, I do believe, speaks at 12, guys. So we'll see what happens. Semiconductors still showing their strength at the highs. SPY still acting like a beast. NVIDIA bouncing. Cloudflare is trying to get a bit of a bounce. NET. His daily chart isn't looking too bad. Potential bull flag trying to bullish pennant trying to break out. Interesting. So crude oil, hard rejection off that pre-market high, still trying to do a bit of a float and grind. Service now down 4%. Quantum starting to roll over. IonQ back to the negative side. Intel still ripping up over 5%. China stocks are looking a little bit vulnerable. Micron. So pretty much semis and memory guys are your bright spots of the market. Financials are still lagging immensely. Natural gas still trying to push. Big push on sound. S&P still trying to squeeze. IWM seeing a little bit more sell side pressure. XOM's trying to bounce here. Oil's trying to make another push higher. Still trying to push higher here. SPY's just consolidating. Software still remains weak, but it is trying to get a little bit of a push higher here. Microsoft trying to bounce. Semis are still beasts. Crude oil making another push, guys. What's VIX doing? VIX is still just consolidating here. The highs. IGV still trying to make a push intraday, coming up into its opening range high. Market's still pumping. Tesla getting a big 10-minute candle. Looks like it's going to make new highs. IGV still trying to curl slightly higher. Microsoft's getting a decent buy program here. Crude oil still trying to get through its pre-market high. Market's not phased at all. Does anybody know what Trump's speaking about later today around 12 noon? I'm also getting close to entering some IWM puts, guys. IWM is lagging immensely here. It's trying to push up here, but I am considering some Russell puts. I'm looking at 282 zeros. Right now they're about 28 cents a con. Semiconductors are still trying to push higher. Jump into some IWM 282 puts, zeros. Just gonna see how this 10-minute candle closes. You're an IWM put, +1, nice. Alright guys, I'm in an IWM 282 put at 29 cents. My stop loss on this Russell trade is gonna be about 24 cents. Crude oil is still rejecting off of that pre-market high. Doesn't want to get through that area. Soundtown now making another push. Fucking Russell. Man, it's looking like it was gonna break out again, but still seeing selling off of that pre-market high. Struggling. Here comes the Russell. Fucking bitch. SPY still grinding higher. SOXX is still pushing. Tesla's still pushing. Alright, the IWM might stop me out here, guys. I'm gonna keep a tight stop loss. Not gonna mess around with it. Come on. Roll back down. How's IGV? IGV still struggling. Microsoft still trying to push higher. Semis again are seeing a little bit of sell side. Nice. IWM back down. Tesla's still trying to push. All right, crude oil is pushing through that pre-market high. for new high. Market's still just floating and grinding higher. Semiconductors, new highs, new all-time highs. Nvidia still beast mode. Apple still beast mode. Tesla still beast. Google flagging under that 400 area. XOM has given up the gains. Fucking bastard. Spicing a little bit of sell side. Yeah, the market's consolidating, holding price action here ahead of Trump SPY, seeing a little bit of selling here, but generally speaking, your mags are holding steady, semis are holding steady at the highs. Small sell side pressure in your Russell. Meta's still struggling, JP Morgan struggling, Netflix struggling, Microsoft still struggling, AMD, Intel still beast, Tesla still beast, Apple still ripping new all-time highs, Nvidia still holding steady. SPY seeing a little bit of softening here. IWM. SPY starting to come in a little bit. Man, this NET is getting slaughtered. Crude oil still trying to get through that pre-market high. It looks like it wants to. And I feel like the market's going to sell as soon as it makes a convincing breakout through that area. But, all right, SOXX is now coming in slightly. Still up on these sound puts, slightly green on IWM puts, but it's just been chopping in this range here. Rocket Lab's still up 24%. Wow. East. It's pushed down on the Russell. All right, crude oil making another move through its pre-market high levels, guys. Nokia is also a short, guys. NOK. It just back tested the 7-day moving average today around 13 bucks, getting rejected. A little bit of an intraday double top. It's another name that could potentially roll here to the downside. Like RXT is insane too. Is there put options on that? Let me take a peek. RXT. Still trying to get through, guys, that pre-market high. It's looking like it's trying this candle. Circles a short. I think the fucking majority of the market is a short here. Yeah, circles are short here too. Stop loss would be these little wick highs for sure. All right, IWM still trickling lower, still in these puts. Crude oil still ripping. Soundhound still in these 850 puts. Come on. SPY starting to lose a little bit more momentum here, guys. We are seeing it coming in pretty sharply. Still above its, trying to lose pre-market high on SPY. All right, potential 5-minute head and shoulders on the Soundhound chart. Shaping up here. This one should give us new lows. Soundhound should head to about 814 if it breaks that neckline. Dollar's trying to perk up. Nice move down on the Russell. Crude is ripping. WTI breaking out. IWM melting. Guys, I'm going to take a high risk lotto put. RXT 350 lotto put. 350 put. RXT. Got this RXT chart, guys. Just entered a lotto. Complete lotto. Looking for a gap fill. It's an extreme lotto, guys. RXT. Got in at 3 cents. Alright. High risk. Soundhound still trying to bounce. Russell coming in slightly. SPY still losing its pre-market high, coming back into its prior day high. Crude oil blasting higher here. Still short the Russell as well. That's looking decent. Semis are coming in a bit harder now. The whole market's coming in a bit harder. First trim on these Russell puts, guys, would be a pierce of the gap fill. If we get down there, pierce of the gap fill. Looking at crude oil, it is making a big move through pre-market high. Same thing with the US Dixie. Dollar's trying to push here. Gold and silver coming in as well. Big reactions down. SPY still defending prior day high. Semis are defending their opening range. Market's still acting pretty resilient here. Seems like they're going to keep it fairly elevated here into Trump, guys. That's what it's looking like. S&P SOXX right back up. Micron new highs. Holy moly. MU is a monster. That's crazy. Crude oil guys still trying to make a push here. Natural gas still acting well. BTC is now rolling over to the dark side. WTI still pushing. Still trying to grind higher here, guys. S&P seeing more sell side pressure, being rejected pretty sharply. Still trying to push. Come on. Sound down very close to breaking down here, guys. Head and shoulders in the 5 minute looks very likely. Market still holding up quite well here. IWM, S&P, SOXX all consolidating. Crude oil backtesting pre-market high. Market's still acting crazy bullish right now. Small sell side pressure here hitting the tape. Soundhound still looking pretty weak. Nvidia getting rejected off its opening range high. Crude just sitting on its pre-market high level. SPY seeing a little bit of sell side. Gonna take a break here, lunch break. We'll probably close down the YouTube stream. I'll keep the Telegram stream going. But again, Trump set to speak at 12, so we'll see what happens there.